Let's move on to the 1 o'clock games Sunday. We're going to start with a beauty, an absolute beauty. Let me pull up the market moves here. We're starting with Colts Bears. Indianapolis, Chi-Town. Colts open up at -3. They're now 2.5, and there's -2s on the board. Let me get the totals here. Sorry, I moved off of it just to see what kind of juice I was dealing with on the money line. The total opens up at 44.5. Now we have 45s have hit the board. There still are 44.5s. All right. Colts, Bears. Colts sitting 2-1. Bears 3-0. Rhodes, TJ Carey both returned picks for scores in that 36-7 win over the Jets. Colts came in with the league's top-rated defense. They dominated the Jets in all facets of the game. Rivers did things really well. He was conservative. He didn't make mistakes. He went 17-21 for 217 yards. They have not got Rock Ya-Sin back with a stomach illness. Ali Cox, their tight end, was a basketball player. The guy looks awesome. Just 3 catches, 50 yards, but you know he's going to be dangerous. T.Y. Hilton, 3 receptions for 52 yards. Taylor ran 13 times for 59 yards. Mac Hooker done for the season. Michael Pittman coming back in week 8. That is your Colts situation. 2-1 visiting Chicago. And then for these Bears, finally, Big Dick Nick comes in and rolls. He had 2 touchdown passes overturned, and he still comes in and goes 16 of 29 for 188 yards. They were down 16 points in the last 6.5 minutes. This team has got to believe in them. They lose Tariq Cohen with a knee injury. Also, their safety, Sherrick McManus, knocked out by a hamstring. But, man, if there was a team that you might want to buy in on now, it looks like it's the Chicago Bears with Nick Foles running the ship. I'd love to hear your look here. Colts, Bears, Bebsy, take it away.
My take on this is either you bet Big Dick Nick at home or you don't bet at all. I don't have any faith in Phillip Rivers to win a good matchup. I don't put any stock into what they did to the Jets last weekend. That means absolutely nothing for me. But I do put a little stock into, man, you got to figure the Bears just in general. That team has got to be happy that Nick is in. I think they rally around him. I think that's the only play here. You go Bears or nothing. Yeah, I simply don't have faith in Phillip Rivers. I think some of the injuries that the Colts had wouldn't show up in a game like the Jets. Rhodes isn't gonna put up I think his Pro Football Focus rating was like 93 or something. That's not what Xavier Rhodes is going to do every week. They are going to miss Malik Hooker this week. I don't think it's going to be a cut and dry game. I don't think it's going to be an easy win for either team. I like the Bears rallying behind Foles because they know if they win with Foles, they never have to see Mitch again. So for me, it's Bears or no play here. But I still want to see another game with Foles at the helm. I want to see if it's not just another case of the Falcons shitting the bed, or if this is for real, if Big Dick Nick is back and swinging again.
Well, I think I want to start entering the world of Birdie, who cashed on the Bears money line last week. I want the money line on the Bears because I'm not going to get the 3. And Birdie thinks that he still might get the 3. I don't see any. I think that if there's movement on this game before Sunday, I expect it to be on the Bears.
Plus, I think so too. I think if there's any movement, it's money coming in on the Bears.
And I should have moved at the 3. But I like talking, and maybe next year we got to do this show right after the Monday Nighter ends.
Yeah, maybe. Like I'm watching that Pittsburgh game because to me that's that's an easy play right now, but that's already changing.
Yeah, it's moving fast. All right, I'm going to there's no point for me to take a plus 2.5. Are 2.5 points worth 120? Maybe it's not enough of a money line. If we're line shopping here, let's just go over to the licensed books on the odds.com odds page. Let's go over there and see what we are getting, because I'm expecting that you'll be able to get a nice plus line. If I could get plus 130 or 135, but maybe I take the 2.5 points here. Let's just go. So the spreads are all 2.5. Let's move over to money line here. This is DraftKings, FanDuel, American licensed books. And the best is plus 125. There's nothing wrong with plus 120. But I will take the 2.5 points. Bears plus 2.5. Minus 110. I'm on the Bears train.
I like it. And I mean, that's something I got to turn over in my head for a bit, but
what you're doing is working. And I don't want to, because I'm going to have more quantity of action than you, I don't want that to push you in any way. And you get respect from the cappers in the chat for holding back and waiting for the spots. And look, you're hitting over 75%.
Yeah, no, I'm a coward, but I won't be pushed around.
We need to make t-shirts.
Yeah.
Okay. There you go.
It's actually not a bad slogan.
It isn't a bad slogan. It isn't a bad slogan. Colts Bears. I'm on Bears 2.5. Plus 120 is just not enough. Just not enough for me to take the money line there. I would have done it at plus 130. Victor Lou says Bears under. Before we decide if the under should be a look, and we are sitting at 45, tell me about the Bears defense. We know that this Colts defense looks very good, where we have a vividness bias of this Bears defense being very good. Do you think that this Bears defense is going to get better and better throughout the year and this under is in play?
Well, I think the Bears defense will get better just because they're going to have a little more rest now that Foles is extending drives instead of Mitch just, being terrible. When your offense starts playing better, your defense plays better because they get more rest. I mean, that's the thing, is if you have a team that has ball control, their defense is just better automatically. They're rested. They can fire harder. I think you will see the defense improve because of Nick Foles. Something a lot of people don't look about, like they'll look at just the players on the defensive side of the ball that make changes, but no, it has a lot to do with your offense and them staying on the field, and not just time of possession. It's actually just having your guys rested. I mean, your defense sort of, they work because they're rested, and those stars can fire off the ball and get to that quarterback. So yeah, I fully expect the Bears defense to be better moving forward.
We have great comments coming in on Nick Foles. I would like to hear your take on Nick Foles. Let me give you an idea of what the chat is saying. Steel Curtain says, do you trust Foles more against a good Colts defense, or do you trust Rivers more against a good Bears defense? That's the question. But Overtime says, everyone loves Foles till he starts. Yes, he's an upgrade from Trubisky, but he's still a backup. And Prince of the City says, Big Dick Nick sucks. Played 4 good games and was awful in Philly. Couldn't start anywhere for long. So how good is he? Can you answer that question, Bebsy? How good is he?
Well, you're right. He's not that good. If he was, he'd be a starter somewhere, and he wouldn't constantly be bouncing around. He's good in comparison to Mitchell Trubisky in that he's not a disaster. That's what I mean in Big Dick. Yeah, he went off in Philly and obviously in the Super Bowl. And yeah, I just like saying Big Dick Nick, and I like getting behind him. So no, he's not a good quarterback. If he was a good quarterback, he wouldn't have been fighting for a job with Mitchell Trubisky. But he's better than Mitchell Trubisky.
There's no doubt about that. And he's able to capture momentum, and he's able to have a team that believes in him. Backdoor cover says Foles won't last. Watching the Colts beat up on the Jets, That didn't do a ton for me. I watched that game very closely because I had the under and the Jets team total under. But they lose.
The Niners' second and third string players massacred the Jets. The Jets they're just a bad football team that's coached poorly. There's nothing you can garner from a team beating them up. Like if you beat up on the Jets, great. That's fine. All right. I don't go to elementary schools and shove kids off the swings. I could, but I don't. And that's basically what happens when you beat the Jets right now. I'm dead serious when I say that the Jets are legitimately staring at an 0-16 season if they don't win this week.
All right, I like it. And Birdie says Indy got 14 defensive points in that game. They did. Cole Coleon, the Vegas King, rolling with us. And let's close the game that I'm betting on the Bears plus 2.5. Let's close it up with Take It Easy. He says he can make the necessary throws. We're talking about Nick Foles here to extend drives, like Bebsy was saying. That helps the defense catch a breather. Mitchell makes too many mistakes, whereas Foles hits the safe passes.